Well guys, we're here today with another customer who's going to get some fuel into the LPG love. Brian, how are you doing? Can you tell me just a little bit about how you got involved with the LPG and how you found it?
Well, I saw an article on it somewhere in the papers, and I thought I might be interested in getting the car converted. It's a 2-litre petrol, and it's quite expensive when it comes to running on petrol, but since I've got it converted to the LPG now, it's made a big difference.
I can definitely imagine. Had you any concerns when you were reading the ad, or any concerns in relation to LPG before you got converted?
I suppose what happened is I thought that I didn't know enough about it. I didn't know many people who had it done. So anybody who had it done before told me that they had it done back in the 70s or 80s or whenever.
For sure, when it was really popular.
When it was popular, but they said that they weren't very happy with it, and they had to switch it over from petrol to gas, and there were a lot of complications with it. But the more modern ones now are an awful lot better. So that was the only hesitation I had.
That's true, because I think they're up to about the 5th generation of LPG conversions, and back then, like, people were converting them themselves, and there was issues with leaking and all kinds of mystery troubles. And as you said, you had to be very meticulous to start it on, you know, LPG or petrol, and backwards and forwards, and make sure it didn't run out. And before you turned it off, you had to switch it back. But this whole system is now seamless. Basically, that's what I'm getting from it. And kind of, how much mileage would you do per week, would you reckon?
I would do about getting on for 500 kilometres, so about sort of 300, 400 miles a week, something like that.
It's not too bad. And all happy miles so far?
So far I've had no complaints at all, no problems at all. As long as there's enough filling stations around. The difficulty is trying to get in, and you know, to ensure that there's enough stations around and there's not a queue of people, because it takes some time to fill up. But aside from that, that's a very small price to pay. That
makes perfect sense. I think a lot of people, as you said, and rightly so, you know, have had concerns because of LPG failures since the 80s, and with the advent of diesel, people didn't see the advantages of it. It was just cheaper to go out and buy diesel than have it petrol and get it converted. Whereas now, people are actually beginning to realise, well, first of all, it's like 80 cents a litre as opposed to even 140 or 150 for diesel. It's also a lot better for the environment. I don't know whether you're reading recently, there was an article in the Sunday paper in relation to the effects of diesel.
Oh, I know, that's terrible.
Really bad for the brain. Yeah, that's correct. And the lads here recently, they done a service on a diesel car, wasn't it? It wasn't even that old, and the whole filtration system of it was just caked with this carbon deposits.
Well, I think the problem is that people are driving diesel cars around towns and cities, whereas the diesel car is meant for the long run, because otherwise the particulate filters will start filling up. So the cities are getting smog episodes because of diesel engines. And it is in relation to that particulate filters. There actually was a gentleman in here earlier today, and it's funny that you should say that it's in relation to just, you know, it's designed really for the short bit. Or this guy actually had that filter replaced 3 times, and it was actually on a Subaru. It was on a Boxster diesel engine, and it was only a couple of years old, and that particular filter kept filling up, and he only runs it on the motorway. It's strange. Oh, wow. Yeah, that surprises me.
Yeah, and apparently the way that the filtration system works is it's supposedly it needs to go for about 3,000. Needs to be high speed, but at about 3,000 mile or 3,000 RPM for in order for it to actually to clear it all out. So it's great that you knew about that, and that's really good, because a lot of customers don't actually realise that. So that's really good. And in terms of recommendations for friends and family, would you be happy enough? Yeah,
very much so. Very strongly, very highly recommended.
That's really cool. Have you got the lads to do any servicing on the car?
Yeah, they've serviced it,
And are you happy with what they've done?
Yeah, absolutely, very happy.
Excellent. And again, a lot of people don't know that they do servicing of the cars as well, so that's pretty cool. And as regards to safety, have you got any concerns about safety?
Never had.
No, like myself. Like, in fairness, those gas bottles are pretty strong, pretty reliable.
Well, I mean, the point is that, you know, if you have gas for cooking and heating at home, then you have a gas line which is running underneath the foundations of the house. You take it for granted, you know, you take it as being safe, you take it as meeting particular standards, particular specifications. As long as it does that, I have no problem with being in the boot.
Yeah, for sure. Well, listen, it's been a pleasure meeting you and talking with you today, and thank you very much for taking the time to talk to me. Cheers.
Okay.